Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the second of our League of Women Voters WGRE Candidates Forums. It's a pleasure to have everyone here, and also thanks to those who are listening on our radio audience at WGRE and WGRE.org, and also those watching us tonight on local access cable. We want to welcome everyone tonight to DePaul University and the Watson Forum. This event is being co-sponsored by the Greencastle League of Women Voters and WGRE Radio. I'm Tyler Archer, the station manager here at WGRE. I'd like to make a few introductions before we get the evening started. First, I'd like to introduce Indy New, who's in the back. She's the president of the Greencastle League of Women Voters. I want to thank her for all that her organization does to get this event ready every year. Also tonight, I'd like to introduce our panelists and our moderator. From the Greencastle League of Women Voters, we have Karen Martolio. From the Greencastle Banner Graphic, we have Jared Jernigan. From WGRE News, we have Assistant News Director Meredith McGrady, and moderating this evening, WGRE News Director Stephen Kendrick. Also at this time, let's take an opportunity to welcome our candidates for sheriff who are on the stage tonight, and the prosecutor candidates who are out in the audience, and thank them for coming tonight. The purpose of this forum is to provide voters in the Putnam County area the opportunity to hear the candidates for elected office outline and discuss their ideas and issues in a spontaneous framework. It is hoped that the voters will be able to receive an accurate perception of the abilities of all candidates and thus make enlightened decisions in the upcoming elections. With that having been said, let me go over a few ground rules for tonight's event. First, candidates must adhere to the time limitations established by the moderator and will be interrupted by the moderator when their time is exhausted. Also, audience members will be asked to refrain from applause until the completion of the forum. This request is made in order to keep the forum moving from a time perspective and also as a courtesy to candidates concentrating on their messages. Candidates may bring notepads, pens, and other writing instruments to the podium for taking notes during the program. However, stand-ins, family members, and other designated representatives of candidates will not be allowed to speak for any candidate who is absent. There will be no electioneering or distribution of campaign materials inside the Center for Contemporary Media. Once both races have had their opportunity to debate tonight, there will be a 15-minute segment for audience participation. I'll moderate that so you can be thinking up questions. Also, following the conclusion of our event, there will be a reception held in the lobby for candidates and everyone here tonight. So without further ado, let's welcome our candidates for Putnam County Sheriff.
Thank you very much for joining us once again. This evening, we will begin by doing opening statements, and the order was decided by a coin toss, which can be done three ways, apparently. But it was decided by a coin toss, so we will go down the line for opening statements. All candidates will have 2 minutes each for their opening statements, and then we will go into questions. The candidate who opens second will be allowed to go first in questions, and we will follow down the line, and we will cycle through, and we will also cycle through our panelists as they are allowed to ask questions throughout the evening. We will be discussing until about 7:45, and that includes the closing statements. And those statements will be allowed for 2 minutes each for each candidate. And of course, after the questioning portion, all the candidates will also have an opportunity for 1 minute, if they so choose, to rebut or add a follow-up to what they've said before. And that order will follow the same way that they answer the questions. So now we are going to go to the opening statements, and we'll start with 2 minutes for Mr. Fenwick.
Hi, I'm Steve Fenwick, and I am currently the Putnam County Sheriff. A little bit about myself: I was born and raised in Putnam County. I graduated from Greencastle High School. I'm a former United States Marine Corps Reserve Sergeant, and I'm a graduate of the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. I'm married to my wife, Sherry, and I have 2 grown sons. I've been with the Sheriff's Department for 29 years and have worked under 5 sheriffs. In my 29 years, I've been a jail officer, the jail commander, a merit deputy, and a merit sergeant. I've been involved in nearly every capacity within the Sheriff's Department on both sides, and I feel this makes me the only candidate with the experience and the knowledge to run the department. Since becoming sheriff, we have added 3 new deputies, and this allows us to give 3 officers per shift and to patrol the north, south, and central sectors of Putnam County. We have also added 20 additional reserves to help out on weekends and special events. We've added 2 part-time animal control officers, and they assist with the animal problems and help out with the officers. And we continue to utilize our inmate workers on road crews that clean up Putnam County. I'm not a politician. I'm a career police officer. My only goal is to make the Putnam County Sheriff's Department the best department we can be and to continue to serve the citizens of Putnam County. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Clark.
Yes, I'm Gary Clark, candidate for Putnam County Sheriff or nominee of the Democrat Party. I wish to thank the organizers and sponsors of this debate tonight. It is appreciated. I'm married, live in Roachdale. I have been viewing the Sheriff's Department from the outside based on my experience. I had 3 years United States Army as military police officer under the command of Colonel Curtis D. Arp, who is kin of the late Sheriff Wyatt Arp of Tombstone, Arizona fame. Also, I have 10 years experience with the Indiana State Police Department serving people of Putnam County. During this term, I have noticed a sheriff stealing money, a prosecutor hiding evidence on a murder investigation, and another sheriff's son being involved in shooting. I believe these experiences reflect poorly on us and hurt us in the business community. When I'm elected sheriff, I will open the books so everybody knows what money's coming in and where is it going. I will publish the public record so everybody knows what's going on in the community. Jail registry I will have a police blotter so you know what the criminal and police officers are doing in our community. I will publish a stolen property registry so make it more difficult for the criminals to sell our property stolen from our homes. I will publish a warrants registry with photographs so everybody knows who's wanted with purposes of the fugitives either surrendering to custody or fleeing jurisdiction. I will labor to reduce the expenses of the Sheriff's Department by 20%, recognizing that if the money's not available, there's no temptation to steal the money. I look forward to further discussion tonight, and I thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you. Mr. Tessmer, you have 2 minutes.
Hello, my name is Joe Tessmer. I'm your independent candidate for Putnam County Sheriff. I just want to thank you for allowing me to be here, and I want to thank everybody for coming to the debate tonight. Just a little bit about me. I was born and raised right here in Putnam County. I come from a very small family. I'm number 4 of 8 kids, so small family. I graduated from South Putnam High School, and I married my wife there, Paige Paquin, who is also from Greencastle and graduated from Greencastle. We have 2 kids, Alyssa and Kyle. I started with the Sheriff's Department back in 2004 is when I began as a reserve. I remember coming on the department on how excited I was about becoming a deputy with the Sheriff's Department. I could not wait to protect our county, just everything about it. I remember my first ticket I wrote. I remember my first arrest I made. I remember my first drug bust. And unfortunately, I remember my first fatality I worked. One of the things that I want to do when becoming sheriff of our county is I want to look at the future, and the future is our kids. And with that said is I want to put together a team in our county, and I want to get into the schools. And what I want to do is I want to show our kids what drugs, alcohol, what breaking the law. I want to show them, what happens when you do these things. Teachers, they have in-services all the time. One thing that we need to do is we need to get into the schools for their in-service. And with that team, we can show the teachers, hey, this is what meth looks like. This is what marijuana looks like. This is what different drugs look like. So this is what you need to look for if you think a child is on this. So that's just a beginning on just a couple of the things that I'd like to see done when becoming sheriff.
Thank you, Mr. Tessmer. We will now begin a question session, and we will start with the League of Women Voters. And the first question will go to, beginning with Mr. Clark.
Welcome. In your opinion, what is the most significant law enforcement issue facing Putnam County?
In my opinion, Karen, the most significant issue in law enforcement for Putnam County is loss of trust. With the incident of the theft and other incidents occurring within the Sheriff's Department, trust has faded in this county. I believe the only way to restore trust is to be fully open with the public, open the doors, open the books so everybody can see what's occurring, where the money's going, where the money's spent. That will allow the people the opportunity not only to trust, but trust through verification.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Tessmer.
Could you repeat the question again?
Of course. In your opinion, what is the most significant law enforcement issue facing Putnam County?
Well, I think, in Putnam County, I agree, trust is one of them. We definitely in Putnam County have a huge problem with drugs in our county. It's huge. I thought we lived in a county before I got on the sheriff's department. I thought this county was just a perfect county until I got in it. And then I realized that it's not as perfect as what I thought it was. More drugs now than I've ever seen. It's just completely out of control, and I'm absolutely seeing meth just way out of control in this county. So, drugs, definitely.
And Mr. Fenwick.
I agree with that. The biggest problem is the drugs and the prescription drug problems that we have in this county. And I believe that we've got to educate the schools, the teachers, and they are well educated on this, and they have done a great job, I think, especially on the meth issues, that, if there's a meth lab out here, that the people of this county know where it's at, and they inform us about that. And but the drug issue and the prescription drug issue is the biggest problem we have.
Thank you. And Mr. Clark, you may have a rebuttal or something you'd like to follow up with.
Yes. With all the problems that occur in our society today, whether it be drugs, violence, domestic violence, battery, law enforcement is useless if the people do not trust them. Law enforcement is useless if they lack or discarded or squandered the credibility. That is why I believe trust is important. Again, being fully open with the public to restore trust, then we can really address the drug and other crime issues with credibility with the public returning information that we share. With the informed public is more able to assist law enforcement, confirming my belief that an officer is only as effective as the community that supports the officer. I thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Tessmer.
No,
Mr. Fenwick?
I have nothing.
Excellent. Then we will go to our next question, which will come from the banner graphic. And Mr. Tessmer, you will be able to address it first.
As I cover the county and cities and towns in the county, one thing that faces everyone is budget issues. It seems to be such a common issue in our state. How will you try to maintain the level of service people expect while dealing with these ever-shrinking budgets right now?
Well, with the budget, I mean, the first thing when I think of budget in our county is you look around at what's driving around in our county and what most of our deputies are driving right now, and it's SUVs. I mean, I owned an SUV. I know how much gas an SUV burns. I used them at the sheriff's department. I went through a tank of gas. My SUV, it cost $60 to fill the thing up. So, yeah, we need to cut away some of these SUVs. We do need a couple of them, but there's no reason to have 5, 6, 7 SUVs. There's no reason to have 3/4-ton trucks. Budget is an issue, but bottom line is when somebody calls 911, they really don't care about the budget. They want you there, and they want you there quickly.
Thank you. Mr. Fenwick, would you like the question repeated?
Yes, please.
How do you plan to maintain the level of service that the taxpayers expect while dealing with the shrinking budgets?
Over the past couple of years, we have had our budget reduced by quite a bit, actually. What we have done, we've got a program that we hold DOC inmates for the state that pays us over $1 million a year. And that's helped out quite a bit. And as far as the